Hey, welcome to the conversation that's as diverse as the dogs that we adore. This is Gun Dogs and Guard Dogs, ultimate podcast dedicated to talking sense about dogs with Les Graham and Ross McCarthy. They work with all breeds of dog, but one specialises in gun dogs and the other prefers guard dogs. No flashy trends or social media hype here, just tried and true knowledge that stands the test of time. They bring you valuable insights and honest conversations about the social predator you share your home with. So here we go. About 45 minutes of gun dogs, guard dogs, good dogs, some maybe not so good dogs, and a dash of gossip.
Yes, I finished yawning, so let's start.
I was waiting for you to finish yawning. Anyway, how are you, Mr. McCarthy?
I'm very well, thank you.
Other than tired?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yes, can't promise I won't be yawning again. How are you doing?
You're going to get me yawning now.
Don't yawn, don't yawn.
I don't know, I am. It's coming. I can feel it.
Contagious, isn't it?
It is.
Contagious.
It
Well,
is.
you look fresh and bright in your pink anyway, regardless of how you feel.
You look fresh and bright in your pink as well. I mean, it's all different colour.
No, it's nice and bright. It's nice, colour coordinated today.
Yes. Oh, Craigie, don't say we've got to go matchy for the podcasts.
No. Do you remember that programme? What was it called?
I don't know. What was it called?
Was it Ever Decreasing Circles? They had Howard and Hilda. Do you remember that?
No.
They dressed the same. Howard and Hilda used to wear the same jumpers.
Oh my God! So we're not going to become Howard and Hilda, are we?
No, I don't think there's much chance of that.
Okay. When we used to teach together, we used to laugh because it was like Ant and Dec would follow each other across the stage. Do you remember?
Yeah,
Quite
funny,
funny.
isn't it? I saw I think it was a film or some pictures the other day when we used to have those maroon t-shirts.
Oh yes, the maroon
Fanta.
polo shirt, wasn't it, with the white long sleeve t-shirt underneath?
Yeah, I used to wear a t-shirt to cover the tattoos.
Well, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Mine were already hidden.
Yeah, we're lucky they weren't on display. Would have been a problem.
Or turned up in a bikini.
Oh dear, yeah. See,
And that's just you, not me.
Oh well, I still do that.
What, turned up in a mankini?
Yeah.
As long as it's pink.
Oh God.
I know. Go
No.
on. We've got thunder at the minute. So if you can hear it, pretty loud.
Is it? We had that the other night actually. I don't know when this podcast's going out, but it was apparently the hottest day of the year yesterday across Britain.
Really?
Yeah, which is bizarre.
I'm busy scheduling my slap on some sunscreen, so I'm a bit late.
Oh, well, I don't know if you're late. I put the heating on.
Okay.
You probably got
Yeah,
time.
I didn't. It's normally like the beginning of May. I put on the slap on some sun cream post.
I think possibly at the moment you're a little bit jumping the gun, I'd have thought. The need for sun cream at the moment today is zero.
Really? You've just said it was the hottest day of the year yesterday.
It was, but I put the heating on.
Okay.
Heating on yesterday evening. So yeah, still brighter days ahead, eh? It's nice that it's light in the morning and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's lovely.
Right,
How was your morning walk today?
my morning walk was all right. I did a little ranty because I saw my local dog walkers, a local dog walking company, taking the mick really. They pick up all these dogs. There's a few of them actually go around. It drives me a bit bonkers. They go around, they've got all these dogs in the back of a vehicle together. No like security cages and all the rest of it, like large breeds, small breeds, all in these vehicles. And they got stopped off at the park, walked up the path, turned around, all on the lead, walked back, put the dogs in the car, sat in the car, and then drove off. And I see a lot of them doing it at the minute. It's just they're earning a lot of money, and they're not got the welfare of the dogs at heart. And yeah, ripping people off, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not good at all.
No, that was my morning walk, and I was out early, so actually most everybody else wasn't up and about yet, which suits me fine because I don't like meeting people. How was your walk?
I don't like meeting people either.
No one does.
No, I avoid people like the plague. And we on my walk this morning, I got so far off. I came off the field onto the path, and there was a woman ahead of me, probably about 100 yards away, and her dog, she had a cocker and a lab, and the cocker came running back, barking at my dog. So I just waited. Then she kept walking, and then eventually she turned around and started to come back. She got no recall. I don't even know if she shouted at the dog or not, but the cocker was right in Emerson's face a couple of times. So he lunged, and I thought, I've had enough of this. I threw a poo bag in the dog's general direction just to try to get it back off.
Yeah.
And that was it. The owner, don't you throw a poo bag at my dog. And it's like, really? You haven't got a recall? Your dog's in my dog's face.
No,
It's just not acceptable, is it? It's not acceptable.
No. Well, we've spoken about it before, haven't we? I mean, it's sort of park etiquette. Not a lot of that going along. Yeah. No, I mean, it's the only time really I lose the plot with people is that when I'm walking the dogs, because you just see such idiots.
Yeah.
And then they blame you, they think, oh, aren't your dogs friendly? Well, it's nothing to do with you. I'm over here minding my own business. You crack on and do your own thing over there.
Yeah, I mean, I did say to her, if you haven't got a recall, that's your problem. I'm going to do what I need to do to stop my dogs from lunging, and mean seeing your dog off, then that's what I'll do.
Yeah. No, it's horrible. But I mean, people are not very apologetic, are they? I mean, I've put up with stuff. The odd cockapoo running over and people say, oh, I'm so sorry. And that's all right. Not a big deal. But then other people are just, repeat offenders. And do you know what I mean? Just,
yeah. I mean, if a dog comes running over and it's like all wriggly and playful and stuff, then that's one thing. But when you've got a dog running over, barking right in your dog's face, then that's unacceptable.
I had, it was a while ago actually, but I just got out of the car to go to the park. I had my dogs on a lead. This German Shepherd, the woman with the German Shepherd, foreign woman, Czech Republic or something, coming towards me, and the German Shepherd was walking towards me and my dogs, baring its teeth, and it kept on coming. So I backed up, and obviously the woman couldn't see it baring its teeth. So when she got within, hearing distance, I said to her politely, "Can you put your dog on a lead?" I didn't.
Oh, it was still off lead. Okay.
Yeah, it was off lead. So, but it was approaching me and my dog slowly, with its teeth bared, and
not a good sign.
I wasn't polite, so I didn't say it politely. I said, "Put your dog on the lead." And then she started shouting, I'll put it on the lead when I'm ready." I'm like, you're an absolute blur. Do you know what I mean? Just get your dog and go. Just hideous, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's, you watch them come towards you like that, head down, a stalk, head down, come really
just kept
slow,
coming.
really, really intensive, great gaze. And you say to them, "Can you put your dog on lead?" "Oh, he's fine, he's friendly." "No, this dog's not approaching me friendly. Can you get your dog on lead?"
I know.
And they just don't get it.
No, they don't get it. They don't. I do make sure, to be honest, I've got a bit of a reputation, I think, in my local park. People think I'm quite vile, I should think, some of them. Most people are lovely, to be fair. Most people are nice and we chat and whatever, but the ones that are not, I make sure they know that I'm not very nice.
Not entertaining it. It's difficult because you end up with a bad reputation, and you end up with a bad reputation, and then you feel as if you're just constantly having to be on high alert for all of the dogs.
Yeah, no, it's not. Now I could tell you many a story. I could fill the podcast stories of my walks in the park, but I won't bore you to death.
Oh, good. So if you're not going to bore us to death with dog walks,
what are
you going to bore us to death with today?
I'm going to bore you to death with talking about our job, really, isn't it? Like really being whatever you call yourself, behaviourist, canine
What do you call yourself?
Depends on the day. I suppose canine behaviour practitioner and trainer. That's kind of on my signature of my emails.
Is it?
What about you?
I've got dog behaviour specialist on mine.
Nice. I did used to have canine behaviour consultant.
Yeah,
all sorts of.
Pardon you.
Honestly, I forget where I am. Excuse me. Yeah, I think I haven't lived on my own too long, haven't I?
You got me giggling.
Don't. Oh dear. I
Oh,
do
God.
apologise.
What? I'm,
Oh dear.
I'm so tired. I get the giggles that I just,
Well, I'm so tired.
not in control of your emotions when you're tired, are you?
No, I'm obviously not in control of my anything. Oh dear.
Oh God, yeah. I used to call myself a dog behaviourist, and then people say, "Oh,
Yeah.
what do you mean?"
I
Oh,
know.
a dog behaviour practitioner. What does that mean? Oh, just dog behaviour specialist.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for people to understand.
Yeah. There's a lot of people around now, isn't there? I mean, I started in 1999, I think, which was what, 25 years ago or something? Yeah,
A
25 years.
century.
Yeah, blimey.
A century.
And there wasn't really many people around then doing it, really.
No.
Not compared to now. There's people all over the place, isn't there, on every corner.
Yeah, we're coming as much now, mate.
Common as much. Yeah, well, it wasn't. I mean, obviously, when I was at school, it wasn't a career thing. I mean, if you'd said you wanted to be a dog behaviourist, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Dog trainer. It was, and when you think back to like Barbara, I nearly said Barbara Windsor, Barbara Woodhouse days.
Mm.
You know, there was no behaviourist. There's no. I mean, you had a
No.
problem dog, you took it off, you put it to sleep.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
the options, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess you went to see a trainer, didn't you? Like Barbara Woodhouse, and then
Thank you, Barbara Woodhouse.
that's it. But now it's changed a lot, hasn't it? And yeah, lots and lots of people doing it now. Some of them not doing it quite so good, are they?
No, not if you. Well, no, not at all.
No, a lot of crazy advice going round and about, making things worse, really, for dogs. Oh, and
Yeah,
for
definitely. They really are.
Mm.
So what do you class as a? I'm back with my questions again. I'm really sorry. You know what my head's like.
No, it's good to ask questions.
Okay, good. So what do you class as a dog behaviourist? What differentiates between a dog trainer and a dog behaviour specialist or a dog behaviourist? What differentiates them?
I suppose a dog behavior specialist or a dog behaviorist or whatever, that you look more into kind of the psychology of the dog and equally
Uh-huh.
more into the whole of the dog's lifestyle, really, and the environment and the family and everything, to literally taking into account everything to do with the dog
Uh-huh.
to work out resolving any behavioral issues that are going on. Whereas I suppose the trainer, typically you deal with the dog that's presented with you at that time
Yeah,
rather than looking through kind of the chronological history of the dog and, any incidents and things that have occurred, really.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. So as a dog trainer, you tend to not always, but you tend to see the dog in the field environment rather than in the home
Yes.
environment.
Yeah.
And the reason I stopped doing one-to-one dog training was because you would get the dog, they would turn up with the dog and you'd do the training with the dog. It's like, here, then this is what my dog's doing. It's like, I need to teach my dog, I don't know, recall or whatever. And then you would work on the recall, but then as you all back the car, it's like, oh, and he jumps up, oh, and he does that, and he counts this, and. And then you'd
Yeah.
end up trying to fix. Well, you wouldn't, they would be, the owners would be expecting you to fix things without having all of the information.
Yeah, I did exactly the same. I used to do like a one-to-one one-to-one training
Dog
session.
training session, yeah.
I stopped doing it because I ended up doing a 2-hour behavior consult.
In the rain, on the field.
Yeah, for the price of a 1-hour training session.
Yeah, that's why.
So, and it wouldn't give you the same result. You can achieve a lot in a 2-hour behavior consult. You can achieve huge amounts of behavioral change in people and dogs compared to a one-to-one training session where you're literally sort of teaching physical exercises to a dog.
Yeah.
Do
And
both.
I find as well that when you do like a dog training session, your focus is on the dog, whereas when you do a behaviour consult, your focus is on the people.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you're changing the person's behaviour, which will then have an impact on the dog's behaviour. Whereas when you're training, it's very mechanical, isn't it?
mm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the world of behaviour is quite fascinating, isn't it? Because of course you get to see a little window into people's lives, really.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of the information, that probably you need is kind of entwined in the way that they live and their relationships with each other and other family members and what they do and where they walk and when they, you know what I mean? When they work, when they eat, and everything.
Okay. When they, you know what I mean. You're right. I think you get a huge insight into how people live with dogs as a behaviourist and what works and what doesn't work and when it works and when it doesn't work. So with some like with people who don't have an issue with the dogs, then dogs on sofas and stuff isn't so much an issue. But when the dogs are biting,
Yeah,
then it can be an issue. And so
yeah,
it's quite interesting because you really learn to get inside the dog's head for that particular situation, for that particular family, because it can behave one way with one family and one way. The same dog can be a completely different dog with a different family.
yeah. I've got quite a good example of that actually. I went to see a dog, a mastiff type dog, a couple of years ago
Uh-huh.
for territorial aggression.
Uh-huh.
And the first time I went, they hadn't muzzle trained it. So there wasn't much I could do with it because it kept trying to bite my legs. So I went back to see them a couple of weeks later when they muzzle trained it. But yeah, territorial aggression, it was, sweet dog really in public places,
Uh-huh.
but around the home, it wasn't, keen. But a friend of mine looks after the dog in a daycare and has no territorial aggression. No, anybody can come and visit. It's not even a thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's literally because of the relationship. It's not to do with the fact that the property is different. It's not the dogs because it's the dog is there quite a lot,
Uh-huh.
but it's just the relationship's different. It's not the dog's job to decide who's coming and going, and that's
Yeah.
quite clear. And therefore, that dog isn't a problem in that environment. But the owners are, anxious and whatever else. So in the home environment, it is. So it's quite interesting. If you take the dog out of one environment, put it in another, you don't see.
You don't see it, and it is down to the relationship between the dog and the owner, isn't it? Because if the dog's in a relationship where with an owner where the owner's worried or not very confident or nervous, then the dog will step up,
Yeah,
take control of the situation because it's leaderless. It's got nothing and nobody to guide its behaviour. But then
yeah,
you put that in an environment where somebody, or in the dog, tells it what the boundaries are, then
yeah.
it can relax and just be a dog. It doesn't have to go through all the stress of looking after the house.
No, exactly. I've had a couple of dogs that come and that have stayed with me that have had separation anxiety. And actually, in this environment, it doesn't take very long to get them over that
Yeah.
because the way that, I'll start off, but it's like, I suppose, the nuances of everything that you do, isn't it, that has an
Uh-huh.
impact. So I'll go out to the shop for 5 minutes and then come back in and ignore the dog and then whatever. And it's very, I guess, the art of being a behaviorist or whatever is explaining all of those nuances to the owner to create the
Why?
change in their own environment.
Why the work? How do you find? Just think what you were saying about, leaving the dog and ignoring the dog. Do you think that on social media there's a lot of, well, Ross says I should, and I do as well, say that you should ignore the dog when you first go in. Do you
Mm,
think that people are saying, oh, that's all nonsense, just as a way of, not because it is nonsense, but because they're trying to make a name for themselves or be different to stand out? Do you know what I
mm,
mean? Rather than because they've worked with dogs and they've seen the benefit of ignoring a dog when I'm not saying ignore a dog for like 5 hours or anything, but just that initial coming together of the pack or the family, we know it works. We
mm.
know it works. So You got me burdened now. Sorry, excuse me. You got me at it now.
How vile.
I know. Fizzy water. I'm drinking fizzy water.
Yeah, you
So do you think a lot of it is just contradicting other behaviourists for the sake of contradicting other behaviours so they get more reach on social media?
I don't know if people are just
Or they're just lacking knowledge?
I think people are just, I don't know quite what the word is, quite how to describe it. That whole kind of sort of cultural change that some of these kind of new trainers and behaviourists have, like the fact that, it's unkind to kind of control the walk. The dog should be in charge of the walk. It's their walk. They should sniff.
The sniffy walk.
Yeah, the sniffy walk. Going where they want to go. And it doesn't matter and it doesn't affect this, and your dog should, you shouldn't be able to. Was it you that was saying when we spoke last time about the recall?
Yes.
It's cruel to recall your dog when it's
Cruel to
doing
recall your
something.
dog.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff like that. And of course, all of those things kind of sound nicer to people, don't they? It sounds nicer. Like if you say,
much
you
nicer.
don't have to ignore, when you come home, dive on your knees and cuddle your dog. You don't have to ignore it. That sounds nicer, doesn't it? So you think, oh, okay.
Until somebody gets bit.
Until someone gets bitten. But a lot of the stuff that we recommend has like a practical use, isn't it? I mean, when you come home with your shopping or your briefcase or your whatever else, or, you've got your nice clothes on. When you come in,
you don't want the dog jumping on your bag of eggs, do you?
No, you come in, you put your shopping away, you stick the kettle on, or whatever you do, don't you? And then you have your nice quality time with the dog when calm down. With my dogs, they're not that fast when I come home, just because it's not a big deal. It's not me coming home is not exciting
No.
because it's nothing happening. I've just got things to do, and then they have their time when they have their time when we're out for a walk, or when we're playing in the garden or whatever. But practically, it works for me not to have to fight my way through dogs at the front door.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the same in the morning. I come in and the dogs will maybe wag their tail if I'm lucky. If I come into the office, they'll wag a tail, open an eye, and that's it. They don't necessarily get off their bed.
No, mine don't, especially if I get up particularly early.
I came in the other day because I'll give them a biscuit when I go out. And I was going out with Emrys to do some training. Danny was just finding his crate and he kind of opened an eye like that and he's like, right, where's my biscuit? And then he closed his eye again. He didn't even get up knowing I was going out.
No.
And I'm really glad. That's what I want. That's ideal for me,
Yeah, well, they're relaxed, aren't they? They're content and relaxed. I think it's a strange time that we live in, that people are trying to, I suppose they're lying, really. They're trying to create something that doesn't exist. They're trying to create these fur kids, or the fact that the dogs don't need any rules. And of course you have your dog on your sofa, and of course you follow the dog around the block and let it do what it wants, and all of these strange things. But again, like we've probably spoken about before, a lot of this lack of structure and these new kind of rules actually are quite unkind to the dog. They like the structure, they like the guidance. They don't want to be in charge of where you go for a walk and all of it. It just creates confusion and,
creates confusion and stress and pressure.
Yeah, it does. They really like, I mean, you see it yourself, don't you, working with clients, when you go in and the dogs have no rules or few rules, and they're, life's a mess. Do you know what I mean? And then you go in, you start creating some clear kind of guidance, and you can see the dogs literally kind of exhale, like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
someone knows what they're doing.
Yeah, someone's in charge. And I think because they do live intrinsically in a hierarchical society the same way that we do, they need that. And especially because they're in our society too, I think every single relationship, regardless of what type of relationship it is, if the animal, including myself, is a social animal, they live in a social group, then there will always be a hierarchy. There'll always be somebody who's got to take control in that situation, in every situation they come to. And for us to expect the dog to do it, I think is unkind and cruel to
Yeah.
expect the dog who we've brought into our society to ask them to take control. I think it's unfair on the dog.
Yeah, it is. It's a great unkindness to the dog, really, to put so much burden on them. So
Yeah. And if you think their brain, you know, they don't develop, they don't mature beyond the capability of a 2 to 3 year old child. You wouldn't expect a 2 to 3 year old child to make the rules
no,
for the home, you know. So I think if you can look at it that way as well, that would really help. But and also when you think of like every relationship we have has got these rules attached to them, haven't
yeah, of course
they?
they have.
They're unspoken. They're rules, and the same way all the games we have, there are all rules for them,
Yeah,
and it's not fair to ask the dog to play our games, if you like, if you want to call everything a game, without knowing what the rules are.
yeah, no, exactly. And it's to be if you can create some clarity that the dogs live by, everybody's happier, and
Oh, yeah.
everything's nicer. I mean, I never have to tell the dogs off, or I mean, there are times that there's obviously one of them do something, but very rarely do you have any kind of conflict, or
Uh-huh.
because the rules, it's all very simple. You know what I mean? We all know the rules. We know how we live. We know what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do, and then we live within the confines of that, and then we're all
Mhm.
happy, aren't we?
Mhm.
Whereas if it's all confused, you're not sure whether you're allowed to bark, whether you're allowed to jump up, whether you're allowed to, you know, pee in the corner of the room, any of those things, then it's all vague and a mess, isn't it?
Mhm. Mhm. So when going back to our job, so as well as like understanding all of that and understanding how a dog thinks and how a dog interacts with different animals, including us,
Hmm.
what what happens? What do you do on a consult, starting with getting out of the car?
Getting out of the car, well, I look at the house, I think, oh God, if it's the worst one in the street. Uh,
I've got a worst house that I've got, yeah, two of my worst behaviour consults have just popped into my head. But go on.
oh God, okay, save that then. Yeah, no, I just have a little look at the house and take my case and my notepad, my folder,
Mhm,
and then go knock on the door.
mhm. Do you rattle
Uh,
the gate?
I don't, well, it depends if they've got a gate. I don't very often rattle the gate. I do, obviously, I'll have a little look and see what's going on. Most of the houses I visited, like,
uh-huh,
either they've got electric gates, you drive in, or they're on, the street in London that dogs aren't going to be out the front garden or anything. So,
uh-huh.
yeah, go knock on the door and then go in with my case in my hand and my clipboard and see what we see when we get in there. What about you?
Pretty much the same.
Mhm.
Silence, pretty much the same. Um, I step back at the door, you step in, don't you?
Yeah, I use my case. We talk about the case a lot for kind of safety. But
Yeah.
I use my case to block the doorway because I've had it before, not with the behaviour concept, but I had it with social services visits where I go and people open the door and the dog runs out the front door
Uh-huh.
and it's on the street then. And of course, people are weird because they think you're the trainer, so you're going to do something miraculous.
Immediately.
Yeah, miraculous to get the dog in. Well, I didn't let it out the front door, love. I didn't know it was going to run down your driveway and into the street, did I? I mean, what do you think I'm going to do?
Because I take a step back so that I can see the dog coming
Mm. Yeah,
and
well,
do something about it.
block my
You're right
door.
up against the door. I'm a few paces back,
Yeah,
waiting with my case.
yeah, yeah. No, I block the door and then I could always shut the door again, couldn't I? And use the case and bang the door. But
Yeah.
yeah, you never really. I mean, I think one of the most difficult things about the occupation is you never really know what you're walking into, despite the fact that we are careful and we send forms out and we speak to people on the phone and we get an idea of the problems. Sometimes then you're still surprised at, the environment and the
Yeah.
behavior of
Very.
the dog, or they've got another dog in the house or with more severe problems than the one you're there to see. And You never quite know.
Yeah. The when they only tell you, you're only going to know what they're prepared to tell you, and the
Yeah.
rest you find out when you walk through the door, don't you?
Yeah.
I saw a dog. I went to see one dog, and the person had brought in a rescue dog, and it was the rescue dog that was the issue, not the dog that I was going to see. She didn't mention it.
No.
So it is tricky. And then there's the thing with the program House. It's like everybody lies, and I think it's true to a degree. I don't think people intentionally lie, but
No, I think some do.
their perspective. I think some do. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the time their perspective of what they see and what we see is very different.
Yeah.
And I think they can kind of take it a bit down the garden path without realising it. And if you take what's on form as read, then you can come unstuck very quickly once you get into the house.
I think a lot of what you do is observation, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I had I won't give you the breed or whatever of the dog because I don't want to identify it, but I went to see a client a few months ago with a dog, and they had a newborn baby, and the dog was quite aggressive. They'd had lots of problems with the dog. The dog was redirecting, and I didn't think that it was safe. I didn't think within the environment. I had lived in a kind of strange environment as well. I didn't think within the environment with that dog, with their newborn baby, that we could modify the dog's behaviour within a suitable time frame to keep things safe. So I had a colleague offered to take the dog, and obviously the clients weren't really up for rehoming, but in the interest of safety, because it could have killed the baby. So, we had to move quickly really to get the dog out of there. A colleague of mine said he'd take it, and I took the dog to him, and he phoned me the next day, like 7 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be a good call, don't you? 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So didn't pick up, and called him back later, and things weren't going very well. And then, like 24 hours later, the dog was really quite dangerous, and he had spoken to the owners, and a lot more truth had come out about the dog. And I didn't know lots of this, and I said, well, I would never have given you the dog if I'd done all of this stuff. So of course I feel responsible, I feel ridiculous because I've kind of allowed him to take this dog into his home that is really quite dangerous. And but they didn't share that information with me. They told me bits that I needed to know.
Yeah.
They thought I needed to know. Actually, the dog had done serious damage to people, and it only came out after the event. So,
God.
Yeah. And it's only because, obviously, we, had the dog, saw the dog, and then had honest conversations and said, this is happening. What, oh, yeah, it does do. It has done that.
Wow.
But it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Like
it's incredibly dangerous.
It is not telling the truth like that when you're not telling the truth or you're not telling the whole story. Putting other people at risk is not cool.
But they do it because they're frightened then that you're not going to change the dog. I can remember talking to Sarah Monk a little while ago. Well, in lockdown, we're talking about rescue dogs. And she was saying they have to, when people phone in, they have to keep a note because the people will phone around the rescue centres and change their story in order to get rid of the dog. And so like that they might phone the first time and say, my dog's bitten, and the second time they might say, oh no, he's never connected, he's just growls a bit. And sometimes it's done deliberately, sometimes it's not done. It's just a lack of awareness of how bad it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the time it's a lack of awareness. But equally, I mean, you were talking a little while ago about, some of this rubbish advice and like recalling the dog's unkind when it's sniffing and all that. What lots of people forget is that actually we have to work within the law, and UK dog law is horrific.
Well, they're looking at apprenticeships and stuff. I was talking to an awarding organisation the other day, and they were saying they were looking at apprenticeships because we wrote the standards, didn't we? And we were there was lots of arguments at the time. We were very adamant that the dog standards should be separate from the animal training standards. The dog training standards need to be completely separate.
Yeah.
Because we have to work within the law, and the dog's the only animal that has got civil and criminal laws pertaining specifically to it.
Yeah.
And they're looking at apprenticeships now, and they're not separating them out, and I think it's very dangerous because if you say the dog laws are horrific, well, we have to work within.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure we're always on the right side of the law.
You do. And even like, looking at when you take the lead of the dog, you then are responsible for that dog. So if you're out with, a dog that's potentially of type, that's not muzzled, and you decide to work with it and walk it down the street or take over the handling of it, then you're not working within the confines of the law, are you?
No, you're not. And the last person who holds the lead is the person who's responsible for anything at all that the dog does then. Yeah.
So, no, there's lots of that. I mean, the law is obviously one of the main considerations, particularly when you're working with aggression.
Yeah.
It has to be. I mean, we use muzzles, way more now than we used to, years ago. But you have to, because you have to keep things safe, and there isn't any room for error. And sadly, I've seen, obviously you see in the news these fatal dog attacks and things like that. But I see, lovely, lovely people that have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time with their little border terrier or whatever, and they've had it seized. And once the dog's seized and goes into the police kennels, that's a mess.
It is a mess.
That's a real mess because they don't come back the same often. So, but it's often the nice people that where your dog's had a little altercation with another dog in the park or something.
Yeah.
He's been bitten in the melee and blame your dog because they're not going to blame their own, are they?
No.
And then, you're in a mess, which is why we're back to square one, which is avoid everybody when you're out and about.
No, you're right. You're right. And I saw on social media the other day that there was a young lad who's got a dog, and another dog came on the field and jumped on his bitch, and his bitch bit the back leg of it.
Yeah.
Punctured the back leg, and the person who owned the bitch has now went and presented him with the vet bill.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky one because people are saying, oh, this dog's out of control, it's out of control, it's nothing to do with you, the dog that was loose.
Yeah.
But that other dog didn't do any damage.
No.
It was his dog that did the damage. And so it becomes a real grey area, doesn't it?
It's really difficult, isn't it? I mean, obviously, if the dog didn't jump on it, it wouldn't have happened. But
the dog didn't jump on it, it wouldn't have happened. But the second it jumped on it, both the dogs were out of control.
Yeah. Which is really unfair, isn't it? Because if you're walking your dog on a lead, then you would think, in effect, that it's under control. But if another dog comes and jumps on it, and then your dog bites that dog, then you've got a dog that's dangerously out of control, haven't you?
Because it's bitten.
Because it's bitten. Same with walking on the lead. You'd think if you've got your dog on a lead, it's under control. But actually, if a jogger runs past you close,
and the dog
decides it's too close to you, thanks, then your dog's dangerously out of control, despite the fact it's on a lead close to you.
And can you remember the case that was the tipping point for the Dangerous Dog Act in relation to attacking service dogs? I don't know if you can remember. It was at the train station.
Rings a bell. Tell me, go on.
So it was a train station, and there was I think it was a Goldie or a Goldie Cross, and it was a guide dog. And somebody walked past, and I think it was a bull breed.
Yeah,
and the bull breed was on lead, and as it walked past, it just grabbed hold of the guide dog. But it was on lead. And I was saying, but it was under control, it was on lead. Well, no, it wasn't. It was, even though it was on lead. Because people say your dog can't be dangerously out of control when it's on lead, but it can be, because it can go past and grab, can't it?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was the tipping point. It was that attack, because it was a big, busy train station. I'm sure that was the tipping point to change the Dangerous Dog Act to include service dogs.
Yeah, assistance dogs.
Assistance dogs,
Yeah. No, that's that's a big fine and imprisonment, isn't it? now.
It is
Assistance dog.
quite right.
Yeah. Well, it's horrific, isn't it? I mean, if you know, blooming guide dog. I mean, can you imagine? Can't see what's going on.
No.
Horrific, isn't it?
Yeah,
But,
it is.
you know, it's scary. It's scary.
They can be. They can be.
No, it's really scary the fact that you can, incidents happen to nice people, don't they? You know, these things because we live with dogs ultimately, you know.
Yeah.
They are what they are, aren't they? But
I mean, they are what they are, and it's why it comes back to what you said at the beginning. It's why we need boundaries and rules, and
yeah,
we need to have rules on dogs' behaviour and what is acceptable to society and what's not acceptable to society.
yeah, they have to live within, like you said, they live it's an alien environment for them, isn't it? We bring
Yeah.
them up in it and, socialize, habituate and train and whatever. But ultimately it's still a weird environment for a dog to live in, isn't it?
And just because we've brought them into our environment and set everything in place doesn't mean their intrinsic behaviour
No.
has gone. You know, if a dog barks in another dog's face intrinsically, it'll either run away
Yeah.
or fight back.
Yeah.
Or panic and lie down and submit. But like those intrinsic drives are still there. Just because we brought a dog in doesn't mean that the behaviour of chasing or chasing cats or chasing joggers is
No.
going to go. We have to manage that.
Yeah. I saw a horrible thing the other day, actually. It was there's a bloke I see, he's got a nice like a mixed breed dog, quite a sensitive little bitch, well, medium-sized bitch. And she's a nice little thing, but she tends to sort of give other dogs a swerve. You know what I mean? So he walks past
Yeah.
a dog and it'll just, avoid other dogs and wander off in the bushes and pop out somewhere else. So, and there's this other woman over the fit park and she had 4 dogs with her, kind of small to medium dogs. There were 2 women actually. And I saw them and then I saw this bloke. And then the next thing, these 4 dogs are chasing
Oh no.
little bitch. Yeah, chased her across the train track onto the other side, and obviously she just kept running. And these 4 dogs chased, and the owner was chasing. Horrible, horrible, because the poor little dog obviously was freaking out,
Yeah.
being chased by these other dogs. But yeah, horrible. But fight or flight, isn't it? And it was flight in that instance. Get away
Like,
from it. It was a
yeah.
threat.
Fight or flight. And the thing is, if it's running away from a predator, then that's going to fire up the chase response, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Which it did. Yeah, which is so. Yeah, 5 dogs running across the train track.
Jesus.
Hideous, isn't it? Hideous.
Mhm.
But was it? Can you remember back before you started this job, what you thought it would be like versus what it is like? Is it what can you remember?
Ooh. I normally ask these questions, not you.
Interesting to know.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think in some ways I was, oh, blimey. I think in some ways I was expecting to be a bit more glamorous than it is.
I'm not sure the word glamour comes into it. Yeah, well, I often talk to people now, obviously like students and things, and I think, I wonder if, because they want to do that, they love dogs and they want to do this.
Yeah. I think I would have been more hands-on with the dog and less with the people. I think that might have been like in my head. I didn't expect them the amount of paperwork that we'll have to do.
No, not the report writing and all that. No, I don't think I thought it would be quite as hard as it is.
No.
Like all of the facets that you need, like like you said, like report writing, liaising with different organisations, conversations with vets, knowledge of the law. Do you know what I mean? And some of the kind of not conflict you have with people, but when people don't want to alter and don't want to follow your advice, and then conversations that you have to have with that, some of the awkward conversations, some of the conversations where people are in tears. Do you know what I mean? It's quite a varied role, isn't it?
Very
Really?
varied. Yeah. I mean, the conversation and the tears has never bothered me because of my therapist background.
Well, I just ignore it and carry on talking, really.
Do you?
Right way to deal with it or not, but yeah, I just carry on.
Yeah, keep calm, carry on. No, that's never bothered me. I think, and awkward conversations have never really bothered me, but I think it's more I didn't expect it to be as frustrating as it is. Because I think it's a frustration levels, you say to somebody, I can remember seeing this lady and I said, we need to keep your dog and your children separate when you're not there. You shouldn't leave your dog with a child. And it was like, my dog's perfectly fine. It'll never hurt my child, blah, blah, blah. And you think, well, and you have to just take a breath and go, well, actually, I think that was the one where I folded my case and said, if you're not going to listen to me in relation to keeping your child safe, then I can't work with you.
Yeah.
And I think it's that really. It's the it can be the frustration of working with people who you struggle to change their beliefs, because only they can change their belief system, can't they? Only a person can change what they believe in, and if they believe 100% that their child is 100% safe with the dog when they're not in the room, leaving a baby on the floor and walking out the room, leaving the dog with them. If they think 100% that child is safe, you think, well, it's frustrating because you want to bang your head against a brick wall.
Yeah.
So I think it's more frustrating than I thought it was going to be.
I think now the nice thing about, I don't know whether it's being the age I am or that I've been doing it for a long time, but I don't get so tied up in knots. Because I used to sit and have these conversations with people and I'd try and think, what can I do? What can I do about this situation? What can I do with this dog? What can I do about that? But now if nothing could be, like if I say, if you don't want to change, don't change. It's only advice. But if you don't change, there won't be any change, will there? And I think it's nice. I feel comfortable now that I don't have to keep searching for answers that don't exist. I can be honest and say,
yes,
your expectations are way off the mark here. That's not going to happen. Or, your dog isn't safe with your child and I'm not having a conversation about it because you're wrong. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of easier. I think having that experience makes it easier to have a baseline of where we're going and where we're not.
Yeah, because I've shut my folder a couple of times on people and it's like, well, look, if you're not gonna do it, then there's no point in continuing this conversation.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to come up with different solutions that might work or what can do. I haven't done that for a long time. I think it must be an age thing.
I think probably is, and
maybe it is an age thing.
Also, people, I suppose people, there's that saying, isn't there, about something about, I can't remember what it is, but people sort of rub you and shape you into kind of what you are. And I think you kind of, with the conversations that you have and you start to learn, actually, this is a dead end of a conversation because I've learned that already. So let's bring it back to reality here and not waste our time on going down a dead end.
Yeah.
Because you can't, and some people's expectations are just completely unrealistic, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've got a dog that's dangerous and I want it to not be dangerous. Well,
without putting any effort in and without muzzle training it and without doing this and without doing it.
Yeah.
Hang on a second, we just go and go, oh no, I didn't pat my one today. Bugger, you'll just have to work at it.
Yeah, I know. The amount of times have you got a magic wand in your case?
No, love, that's a bite stick.
Yeah, that's the approach.
Yeah, that's not a magic one. That's the kind of prize open your dog's mouth when it bites you.
Yeah, when it's around your throat. No, I know. No, it's cool. It's a nice occupation, but I think it's not for everybody, is it?
I think you need to go in with your eyes open. Don't you that? No, that's not. I think you do need to go in with your eyes open. For lots of reasons, so you don't get bit, but also so you're aware of the amount of admin. I think it's the admin that I've got Emirates here. I think it's the admin that surprised me.
Yeah.
the booking in, the sending out the forms, the reviewing forms, they're going to see them, they're writing the reports, the support afterwards. I think that is the bit that you forget, because you think, oh, I'm going to go and see somebody, I'll be with them for a couple of hours. But then you've got a couple of hours, maybe an hour before and a couple of hours after sorting your report out. And I think that's the thing to go with the eyes open into, I think.
Yeah, and the conversations as well, afterwards or leading up to the appointment, plus after the appointment,
Yeah.
how are things, or this bit's not working very well, or this was improved and now it seems to be regressing, or all of those things, and keep changing, changing the plan because, we need to, because it's all dynamic, isn't it? And we don't really,
Adapt
yeah,
the dog. Yeah.
we have to do that. And I think now, I suppose more than ever, people, because they've been on social media, they've already seen a couple of behaviourists or whatever. So now their views kind of need challenging even more because they've read it and they've like, oh, I didn't think you could do that. And I didn't think we had to do that. And, I was told this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like having your,
Can I say no to my dog? Really? Is it okay? Is it okay to say no to my dog?
I can't believe that people are still saying that. I mean, intelligent people are saying, oh, I didn't know we could say no.
I know.
How on earth did you manage?
And then you've got ChatGPT, which says it should all be positive, it should be positive only, blah, 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 because of the websites that it's fraud.
Yeah.
So we've got that as well, giving out useless advice.
Yeah. No, it's more difficult. It's probably more difficult. Well, I don't know if it's more difficult than it ever has been. I don't know. I think things are just very different, aren't they? Things are different now than it was then.
Did you see Emma's come up?
Yeah. Cuddle time.
Hey?
Cuddle time.
Cuddle time. He's sitting there and I ignored him. And it's like, but I'm gorgeous and I'm here. Naughty dog.
Oh, sweetie.
Yeah. It's quite funny. He does this little trust fall, which is very funny. So anyway, there you go. Another time I'll tell you when we're off air what he does.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it's different. I think the challenges that we faced like 20 years ago are different to the challenges that we're facing now. I don't necessarily think that they're harder now or harder then. I just think that they're different.
Yeah. No, I think so. No, I think ultimately it's a nice job and very privileged to have done it and met so many lovely people, and also met some funny people as well. Had some funny times and some strange situations, and because you do, don't you? Because I think dog ownership, because it crosses like all social classes and stuff. You can,
God, we've seen some beautiful houses, haven't we?
Seen some gorgeous houses, been with some celebs, and then the next day you're in a high-rise apartment and with a couple of pit bulls. It's all, which is great. It's great that it's varied.
It is, it's great. We used to I remember taking photos and going, I'm just about to go and see this person. Wow. I'd be like, this house is amazing. Or that view. You would come out of a house and then like the different views that you see as you're driving home.
Yeah.
We used to send them to each other.
No, it's amazing. I've been to some gorgeous places. One of the biggest houses. I've been to beautiful like country manors and stuff. But I went to a house in Mayfair, and I think it was some ambassador from overseas, that some sort of embassy kind of thing. And it was, Mayfair, I mean, London, isn't it? You think little houses and that. It was one of the biggest. I mean, I went into the hallway because you think it's little. I suppose it's a bit like Downing Street, isn't it? Because that's like, little front and then it's massive. But this it was, the hall, it was like going into a hotel in Las Vegas. I mean, it's absolutely huge.
Wow.
Bizarre. Yeah, it's really quite bizarre. It just went on for miles. Amazing. But yeah, seen some very cool places.
Very cool. Downstairs toilets used to get me. I used to love going into the downstairs toilets.
You told me when I went to that manor house to pick up that dog whose name you told me incorrectly.
I said, you've got to go into the toilet because it's a it was a bearskin rug, wasn't it? Big bearskin.
I didn't go. I forgot to go into the toilet.
God, the toilet, honestly, the downstairs toilet was like twice the size, 3 times the size of my office.
Well, I was probably still reeling from getting the dog's name wrong. Forgot.
you just need to talk the Geordie accent. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Hideous. Yeah, I forgot to go into the loo.
It was amazing. Old-fashioned, tall cistern on a chain.
Yeah, it was a nice place, that, wasn't it?
It was beyond nice.
I used to go down to Wiltshire quite a long time ago to a manor there, and they had a great big manor, and they had like God knows how many acres they had. I can't even remember, like hundreds. And we used to get into a little buggy. So I used to stay for lunch sometimes.
Yeah.
So we'd have little cut up sandwiches with no crusts, and we used to get in like this golf buggy thing and drive from the manor house past this lake to the lake house, and then we'd sit and take tea in the lake house, and then we'd drive back in the buggy. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
And what were the dogs like?
What were they like?
Were the good dogs?
They were lovely dogs, but not right dogs for the people. The problem is, and I've had this a lot actually, particularly when you have dogs in for like training, residential training, when people have got staff, they don't want to do the training themselves. They want the staff to come out, which doesn't help. I mean, I had a Rottweiler puppy a long time ago, and just for training, just in for training, and trained and went back. And I said, you need lessons now because he's a young dog. He's probably about 6 months old or whatever. I'd had him a few times, and I went out with the chef. The chef didn't want to come out. He just gone to Hampstead Heath. The chef was like,
I remember that.
I've got to cook for 15 people tonight. I don't want to be in Hampstead Heath with you with this dog. Housekeeper would come out. She had cleaning to do. She didn't want to come and.
Yeah.
So she's not interested. So actually nobody's doing the training. So you're not going to get anywhere, are you?
Yeah, I know. I can remember that. And it's like that. There's a couple of like where you're working with loads, and it always goes down to the housekeeper. They'll then pass it on to somebody else to look after, and the dog is being trained.
In this manor house I went to, I knew them, the people, obviously quite well because I went there quite a bit. And I went there one Sunday morning at about 10 o'clock it was. And they were still having their breakfast upstairs in bed or whatever. And they knew I was going at that time. Obviously, they'd arranged it. And I said, they said, they'll be down shortly or something. And I waited for about half an hour. I said, I'm going. I haven't got all day to sit and wait here. And all the staff were like, oh, we can't do that. You can't do that. I was like, well, do you want to go and tell them that I'm leaving? Because I'm not sitting here.
Hanging around. Yeah, absolutely. Good for you.
Yeah, no, bloody ridiculous. So, yeah. But, yeah, they came down and, that was that. But they paid well, didn't they? So what can you do?
Oh, you taught.
You got to get paid, haven't you? Like you said the other day.
You have to. Yeah, definitely.
We do it for love. We do it because we love dogs, but
we have to put food on the table.
Got to put fuel in your car to get there, haven't you?
Yep.
So, but yeah, no, very cool job. Very cool job.
Recommend it?
For the right people, I think. For the right people. Yeah, doesn't suit everyone, does it?
No, not at all.
No. But yeah, there's definitely worse ways.
Good job. Cool. And on that happy note, where we're saying, yeah, good job.
Good job. That's it. Good job. We're going.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, better get some reports, eh?
Oh, don't. Enjoy your report writing.
Yeah, we'll do, and we will catch up soon, no doubt.
You will. Take it steady, have fun, and
bye.
Enjoy.
Thanks for listening. It's not just gun dogs and not just guard dogs, but all things canine, as we hope you have discovered. Please like, share and subscribe, and help us spread a bit of common sense back into dog ownership. And a review wouldn't go amiss either. Catch up with Les and Ross again in about 14 days for more canine conversations. Until next time, stay well and enjoy your dogs. Any dog-related questions or topics, just drop an email to talk@cfba.uk or message us via facebook.com/gundogs and guard dogs podcast.